Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into Curious Minds. I'm Mukesh, and if you like the contents we are creating on this channel, please like our videos and post your comments below. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. In today's video, we are going to share the top 5 cities for Indian immigrants to live and work in Canada. Now, before we talk about the cities, let's look at an interesting historical fact. Did you know that over a century ago in 1914 in Vancouver's harbor, a boat with South Asian refugees were turned away by the Canadian authorities and not even allowed to disembark? This event, known as the Komagata Maru incident, has become a key moment in Canada's immigration history and shows that prejudice and discrimination were very much a part of the policies that decided who could settle in Canada and who couldn't. But it also marks an awareness of how Canada has since opened up and become a far more tolerant and diverse society than it is today. Indians live in so many countries across the world, but choosing the right one to call it home is not an easy decision to make. It is often based on several factors such as safety, economic and political stability, affordability, job market, school system, and healthcare. Canada gets top ranking in all these factors. The number of Indians obtaining a permanent residency has more than doubled since 2016. Each city in Canada has its own strength that makes it better suited for different people. Some cities have very strong job market, while others have affordable housing and reasonably priced childcare. And some cities have milder winters, while others have great access to the Canadian outdoors. So if you are perhaps deciding where to live in Canada, or you would just like to know about cities in Canada, here's a list for top 5 cities for Indian immigrants in Canada. So let's take a look. The first one is, and no guesses here, the top ranking city is Toronto. Toronto is a major magnet for Indian citizens looking to embrace the Canadian dream, and it's easy to see why. The city is an economic hub of Canada, with almost all big companies in finance, marketing, and accounting having their headquarters here. It has a far greater manufacturing and tech industries than its Pacific-based competitor, Vancouver. In fact, the city is now recognized as the 4th largest tech market in North America. It is also home to some of the continent's top schools and universities. There's no way to avoid Toronto when it comes to Canada, and it still is where most Indian immigrants want to settle in Canada, given the impressive size of the Indian community here. Ontario's provincially managed healthcare system is a good, solid system, but it can often lead to delays and long wait times given the demand for the healthcare services due to its larger population. And yes, housing is also outrageously expensive in Toronto. Now, how about the rest of the living expenses in Toronto? We looked at a website called numbeo.com to get a better idea of the living expenses in different cities in Canada, and here's what we found for the cost of living expenses in Toronto. An average monthly rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in the city center will cost you anywhere from $1,800 to $2,500 Canadian dollars. The monthly cost of preschool or kindergarten is in the range of $1,000 to $2,100 Canadian dollars. So it is clear that Toronto is not an inexpensive city to live in. So what would the second best choice be after Toronto? You don't have to go very far for that. The next best location would be the Greater Toronto area, excluding the city of Toronto. Now, the Greater Toronto area, also known as the GTA, includes the city of Toronto and its suburbs. But for the sake of this video, we'll exclude the city of Toronto. Now, one of the biggest factors that drew Indian immigrants to the suburbs was the lower cost of living compared to the Toronto city center. The GTA is home to roughly 6 million people, including millions of people from across the world, creating one of the most diverse and multicultural regions in North America. According to Canada's 2016 census, around 300,000 Indian citizens live in the GTA area as permanent residents or naturalized Canadian citizens. GTA has the largest Indian community in all of Canada. Indian communities are big in cities like Mississauga, Brampton, Markham, Burlington, and Oakville. All indications suggest that the Indo-Canadian community in the GTA will continue to grow in the years to come. If Toronto is Canada's economic hub, then GTA perhaps is its heartland. It is home to companies from all sectors such as tech, life sciences, industrial, finances, etc. How many tech and life sciences companies do you think operate from the GTA? 100? No. 200? Nope. Try around 1,000. Yes, 1,000, such as IBM, Oracle, Microsoft, Google, Ubisoft, to name a few. If you are a tech worker, this is where you want to be, at least for work. Markham is known for its astonishing tech-heavy corporate base, along with industrial and financial companies. Like Markham, Mississauga also has been a corporate and industrial center for quite a few Fortune 500 companies. Electronics and computers, pharma, banking and finance, and aerospace are among the industries in Mississauga. Oakville is base for Siemens and the Ford Motor Company in Canada. Many Oakville residents work in advanced manufacturing at large facilities operated by UTC Aerospace Systems and General Electric. Oakville is also a popular location for biotech and pharmaceutical companies. Now, what are the cons for GTA? When it comes to weather, Toronto and GTA summers are hot and humid, and the winters are cold and snowy. Now, let's look at the rest of the living expenses in the Toronto suburbs as of 2019. As you can see here, Toronto suburbs are much cheaper. Childcare expenses and the monthly rent are at least 30 to 40% cheaper in the Toronto suburbs, that is the GTA, than the Toronto city center. Number 3, Vancouver, British Columbia. From world-class skiing to Vancouver Island's beaches, the milder winter, and the fact that the western US cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles and Hawaii are a reasonable flight away, resulting in Vancouver being one of the top choice for many new Canadians. Perhaps the one area where Vancouver seems to be the clear winner is the quality of the British Columbia's healthcare system, which is considered to be world-class, and thus easing one of the main worries any new immigrant has when moving to a new country. This city is a major port in North America-Asia trade and has industries from software, film and media, biotech, animation, video game development, as well as a large tourism industry. So why is this city third on the list instead of first? Maybe astronomical housing cost. Yes, that's exactly why. Here's the rough estimate of living expenses in Vancouver as of 2019. The childcare expenses in Vancouver are slightly lower when compared to the Toronto city center. Did you notice something interesting? Rent in Vancouver is almost the same as that of Toronto. Now, over the years, the rent in two cities have basically equalized, but the cost of buying a house in Vancouver is much more expensive. However, Toronto offers more employment opportunities across wider range of industries, and that might be the X factor in deciding which city to live in. Number 4, Surrey, British Columbia. As a result of the enormous cost of buying or renting a house in Vancouver, the South Asian community in the city of Vancouver in the 1990s began to move south to the city of Surrey, which is currently the largest suburban city in Metro Vancouver. This is a place where a detached home doesn't have to cost you over $1 million and where you can still find, if not cheap, at least somewhat more reasonably priced accommodations. At over 500,000 residents, Surrey is Canada's 12th largest metropolitan area, and out of that population, South Asians accounted for around 32% in the 2016 census. Needless to say, everything from Spanish to Mandarin, as well as Punjabi, of course, are spoken, with over half of the population with a mother tongue other than English. Health industry enterprises and a smaller but growing tech sector are also important employers. And Vancouver is only a short 45-minute drive to the north if you decided to work there, or if you work in Seattle in the United States, it would be a 2-hour drive. As for the cost of living, it's not a cheap city, but still worth considering if you are deciding where to settle in Canada. Here's the rough estimate of living expenses in Surrey. As you can see here, the child care expenses and the monthly rent are 30 to 40% less compared to the city of Vancouver. Number 5. Calgary, Alberta. Calgary is the largest city in Alberta and is the third largest urban area in Canada, even larger than the capital city of Alberta, which is Edmonton. According to Wikipedia, approximately 90,000 Indian citizens have settled in the Calgary metropolitan area, making it another popular city for Indian newcomers after the GTA and Vancouver. Petroleum industry is the mainstay of Calgary's economy. Most petroleum companies in Canada have their headquarters based in Calgary, contributing to making Calgary one of Canada's wealthiest cities. It also includes other industries such as financial services, film and television, and tourism sectors. This booming city has plenty of wealth, and the cost of living is more reasonable when compared to other Canadian cities. This is due in part to Alberta having no sales tax and the lower price of gasoline and natural gas. The city's close proximity to the Rocky Mountains offer great outdoor activities. There are so many great ski resorts to choose from, so don't be afraid to embrace the winter snow. The winters are long and cold, and the summers are short with only 2 months of hot weather, that is in July and August. Calgary is served by buses and light rail transit. However, you'll quickly find that the public transportation isn't as comprehensive as many other Canadian cities, and hence living in Calgary can be tough without access to a vehicle. And because of its heavy reliance on the petroleum industry, the economy fluctuates with the oil market. Want to know how expensive Calgary is? Let's take a look at the expenses. The childcare expenses are 30 to 40% lower than the city of Toronto, and the rent is less than 50% when compared to the city of Toronto. Now that you have seen the most recommended cities for Indian immigrants, take your pick and get ready with your moving plans. You can be rest assured that no matter where you end up in Canada, you will find many friendly people and familiar sights and sounds. Hope this video gives you some insights as to which Canadian city would be better suited for your needs. If you find some value out of this video, please like this video and consider subscribing to our channel. That's it from today's video, and see you in the next one. Until then, have a wonderful day and stay curious.